one of these on their department. Obviously, we got yours. You've seen the gas company probably come out with them since it's good device. This is a great device for tracking down the source of your leak. You've identified that you have some sort of a leak. Now you want to try and pinpoint it. These devices are fantastic for pinpointing that leak. Your FIDs, if anyone carrying an FID, TVA 2020, something along those lines, microfid. All right. So you do have an FID. FIDs are also really good at bloodhounding things. The reason is because these are reading in smaller numbers. They're looking at smaller quantities. They're looking at smaller quantities than your typical catalytic bead sensor is looking at. So you need to know some of the capabilities and limitations. So the sensor technology inside of here is a metal oxide sensor. It's a reactive metal. Basically, when it comes into contact with a certain product it's searching for, it gives a reaction. You used to call these tick meters because of that sound. Tick, 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 tick. When it comes into contact with a product, it gets louder and faster. Now, in all fairness, we're going to say they had the ticking turned off. We turned it back on so that you could hear this. So here I've got propane. Got propane in my cylinder. So if you're using one of these, especially if you have one of the older ones that doesn't have the digital display and you're just using a tick system, you're listening to the ticks to let you know that you have some sort of environment. So have a little bit of propane going here. Please don't smoke. So you hear the increase in ticking that occurs because it's saying, hey, I have detected something. So if you have one of the ones without a display, that is your indication of, hey, I'm getting closer. It's kind of like I'm playing warmer, colder, warmer, colder. So we're going to let this come back down. Our LEL right now is at 0.0, which is where we started in the first place. It's still reading. That's how sensitive these are. It can still see that there's something there, even though it's less than 1/10%. Even though it's less than 1/10%. So we're going to let it keep clearing down, let it work its way out.
So you can saturate that one?
You can saturate them. So what you can't saturate is, I was saying, your infrared. You cannot be saturated, but again, it's blind to hydrogen and acetylene. So you want to be mindful of that. All right, so this is not fire water. This is just simple bottled water. There's no alcohol in here. There's nothing flammable inside of here. One of the things that metal oxide sensors have is they do have a certain amount of sensitivity to water vapor. What am I reading on my LEL?
You're asking the old guy. You just popped at 0.1.
0.1. So I'm getting 0.1% of the LEL for natural gas. Is there any natural gas in this bottle of water? None. Now, in all fairness, the ticks increased and made it sound like a drastic increase, but my percentages weren't a drastic increase. It went from 0.0 to 0.1. But the reality is, there is no methane inside of this bottle. There's no natural gas. There's no flammable product in here. Water vapor can cause metal oxide sensors to react. So you want to be careful when you're using a metal oxide sensor and you start to hear that ticking increase or you're starting to see readings that you're not chasing water vapor, that you're actually going for product. So that's where it's always good to have a catalytic bead LEL sensor in addition to a metal oxide sensor. That way you can kind of see, what am I chasing? Or an FID. An FID would also work fantastic in this situation. It's just knowing the capabilities and limitations of your equipment. Know it's got a cross sensitivity. It wasn't a drastic thing, but if you're just listening to the ticks, that tick made it sound like you had something there when all it was is my water.